Hi, I'm Ken Allender, the owner of Wildwood Cabinetry in Maryville, Tennessee. We're located at the base of the Smoky Mountains, just about 10 miles south of Knoxville, Tennessee. We began our lean journey 1 year ago, and it has been such an amazing ride. We began in chaos. That's probably why most people go to lean. Maybe not, but for us, we were 3 weeks late with every job, always had high quality, but we had to work through things, and there were fire drills and people putting on their Superman capes to pull us out at the last minute. And that worked. Well, back in 2003, I began to read The Toyota Way and the other Lean Enterprise Institute books, and those are all fine books. They're actually excellent. They're just scaled for larger companies. And so when I found Fast Cap, and I found, in particularly 2 Second Lean with Paul Akers. Thank you, Paul. You've changed our lives. You've changed many people's lives. And that's one of the things that I wanted to take this time to tell you, and we just truly admire you. And we're making our own lean journey. Everyone has their own, but without you blazing the trail and being such a help. And I was told a story one time about someone that came to a ravine, and they climbed down the ravine, and they forded the river at the bottom of the ravine, and they climbed and scaled and clawed to get up to the other side. And as soon as they did, they began to build something. It was a bridge, and someone came up and said, "Why are you doing that? You've already come through the ravine." And the person said, "Well, I did, but maybe the people behind me won't be able to get there. And if I can build the bridge back, then I'm truly doing something to help." And so with that in mind, that's one of the things that we started out with, even as our first lean meeting we had. I wrote on the board, set the next person up for success. And I just tried to get them around the idea that if they could just do everything, setting the next person up, both the internal client and the external client, people that pay our bills, that if we could get that in mind, it would work. And we just kept after it. For the first 3 months, it was just trying to keep our head above waters. And all we really did was just 3S'ing. We really got right down to it. We just swept and cleaned. And it was about 3 months before the first real project you could look at and see, wow, that is really better. We've actually got it squared away, and we changed the process, and it's labeled. But slowly we were getting back on track. And so after about 6 months, it's really picked up pace. And now we have people that, I think you call them lean leads, I'll call them lean ninjas, but whatever it is, we have 2 or 3 people that are really into it, and they help other people, and they are sort of little consultants, and they go around and people throw out their ideas, and they collaborate, and they come up with great ideas. I love it. I was out of town for 2 days this week, and when I couldn't wait to get back, not because I was worried about anything, but to see what had changed, and everyone wanted to show me what they had done when I came back in the door, which is wonderful. Never been that way before. Trust. The biggest thing that we found on our journey is that when you start empowering people and saying, go do things, and they've never been allowed to go do anything before, they're very hesitant. And I think that it's about trust. They've never been in a safe environment before. They've never been told they were good enough, they could do things, and they had the ideas. It was just do what I tell you to do. And so the idea of saying you can change it, you have the power to do that, really was uncomfortable for many of my cabinet makers. So we started doing the 7 habits of highly effective people, and I just began to teach those. The very first one, if you've read the book, is to be proactive. And we told that lesson. I taught that lesson over a few days. And one of the things that I taught was about how you train a baby elephant. And you probably heard the story, but if you haven't, the way that you train a baby elephant is you find him when he's baby, you take a logging chain and find the largest tree that you can, and then you attach that little elephant to the largest tree with a chain. The elephant will pull, not be able to get away, and as the elephant grows, you continue to make the chain smaller and smaller, and what it's attached to less and less in size, to where ultimately you can have a full-size elephant with just a rope and a small stick, place the stick in the ground, and when the large elephant feels just a little tug on his leg, he gives up. Well, I told that story, not thinking much about it. The next day, we'd had a couple of our cabinet makers that were out the day before, and so I said, would anyone like to tell this story about the elephant? And a young man shot his hand up. Never spoke up before in any meeting. He basically was very, very quiet. He began to tell the story with such passion, and he was so enthusiastic. And when he got to the end of the story, he said, that's just the way we are. We believe that we can't do things, but we really can't. We're just like elephants with all this power and energy, but we're been too afraid, and we believe lies that we couldn't do it. Well, then he topped it with, I couldn't stop thinking about that. And I went home and I told my wife, and I told my neighbor, and I told my brother-in-law last night about the story of the elephant. He's a different person today because of lean. He has a family with 3 children. That's generational change. So I will tell you that lean makes a difference. I think it adds to the bottom line, but it makes everything better. You don't have to have separate programs for safety and separate programs for leadership and separate programs for quality. It's all encompassing. And so I just wanted to thank you, Paul. I want to thank everyone at FastCap. And I'd really like to get to know you more, but I wanted to be able to have some wins on the board and have basically a year so I could say that I would actually have something to talk about. So thank you again from Wildwood Cabinets at the base of the Smoky Mountains. Paul, if you ever want to go see the Smokies, I backpack and I'll be glad to take you. I'll show you some of my secret places. And just look forward to getting to know you all and to continue in the lean journey together. Thank you.